Welcome back for another exciting video. So today we got a new one in the shop. This is actually a Trailmaster 150 XRX. This has the GY6 engine in it that these things are kind of famous for. I have a lot of these on the channel. This one is a forward neutral reverse. A friend of mine that is today's cameraman actually was able to acquire this. About how much did you pay for this thing?
I paid about $100.
$100. See, folks, it's doable. It's doable. Now, when you got it, was it running?
No, it's not running at all.
Okay, so we have it here in the shop. Do we need to get it running?
I tinkered with it and I did what I did, and I did get it started running.
Okay, so we got it running. So now that we got it running, what do we want to do to it?
Well, we want to go ahead and put some big old wheels on it, and gear it down.
All right.
I bought all the stuff that's needed, and I also bought some upgraded Razor seats there.
Oh, that's going to be comfortable.
And we already got the wheels there all painted up.
They look to be 25-inch tires, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be great. Okay, so we got the tires. Now, as we know from past videos, yes, you could put big tires on these things and they will perform, but you have to do some things to it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get into here and we're going to change the clutching a little bit. We're going to make it where it stays in a lower gear for longer, and we're going to make it where it gets into a higher RPM before it hits, because these motors got a good amount of horsepower for as 150cc. They got about 10 horsepower, but if you can get it to hit later, it doesn't have much torque. It's a lot better. We're also going to re-gear it because, you know, a tire is a gear. And these right now, I believe these are 22-inch tires. So we're going to go to 25-inch tire. That's going to be a taller gear. But I think you want to go through the woods with this. Am I correct?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, so we want some big tires on here, and we want to have some low-end torque. So we're going to change the gear to make this thing, you know, really be like a swamp monster. I do have one. If you look at previous videos, I do have one, Hammerhead with the big tires, and we got the formula just right. And we're going to take what we've learned from that and apply it to this on a little bit of a budget, and we're going to make this into an awesome ripper. All right, this is the Buggy owner. What you going to do now?
Go ahead and paint these with fabric paint. You're gonna make it look half decent. Can't just put them in there looking all ugly and stuff. You know what I mean?
All right, we're gonna work on the aesthetics.
Yes.
All right, sir, carry on. All right, so what we need to do is we need to put these red 2000 RPM springs. I use Glixal. Let's see, Glixal products. And we're going to put them in here. So you've got, if you look on here, you've got the big spring that fits in here. Okay, I'm going to take it apart, but that decides when it upshifts from a lower gear to a higher gear. We want that to happen later, so that's why we're going to use this spring. These three little springs, because they're a little bit thicker than what's stock, and this is a brand new clutch, they keep it where the clutch doesn't hit until you're at 2000 RPMs. So that's great, because remember, this is a high horsepower motor, not a high torque motor. Now, this is how I do this, and I'm not saying I do it this way, but this is how I've been shown to do it. So I'm going to put my feet and I'm going to hold against, because there's going to be spring pressure here. This is 1.5-inch socket. Okay, so as I'm holding this on here, I don't know the metric size of this, but this is just what I use and it works. Okay, so I got it on reverse. Okay, the nut's out. Okay, there you go. See how I leave it go on the springs? If you don't do that, it's going to pop up and hit you in the brain. You don't want that. So I pull this out, and this is where I got this spring, and this is what I'll be replacing. This part right here goes on top. The hat goes on top, and then this will go back in here. Of course, we'll put the hat on here, and that's how we're going to put it back together. This right here, and I've shown this before, but we're going to take these three clips out. They're C-clips, or I don't know what these other ones are. I hate them because you got to use the special pliers on there. But we're going to pull these out, and right in here, you get these little springs in here, and that's where we're going to put these red springs right in there, and that's going to keep it where these will not fly out until you're at a higher RPM. Okay, so what I did is I pinched these just a little bit in my vise, okay? on these red springs because I want them to be as tight as possible. So I give them just a little bit of extra, okay? Now you notice on here you have the smaller end and the bigger end, okay? So the smaller end I'm going to put in there first because that's easy to get to. I'm going to put it in here, into this part, okay? So it's fitting in there. So to get it in here, this is how I found works best. You use the way that you like, but this is what works for me. So I put these in a vice grip, okay? And I get it nice and tight in here. I just use my gorilla hands. I get it in here like this. Maybe reset it. Hold on. One more time. Third time's a charm. Yeah. See? Goes in there just like that. I'm not saying it's easy. I've just done it a lot. And now I'm going to put this part back on. And that's what's going to make it where the motor will be able to rev up before it actually hits. And that's where you get your power with the big tires. Okay, so we're going to put this together the opposite of the way we took it apart. So we put the spring in there. Remember, we have the hat up on top, okay? Now the clutch that we have the nice heavy red springs in there to make it hit later. We're going to put this on top, okay? And we're going to use our feet. We're going to try to get this thing to spring back and hit us in the brain. And we're going to push down. Got to have good balance. All right, we got it in. All right, now we got that started. We're just going to tighten it down with the tool. Beautiful. As long as it's flush, you know you got it in there good enough. So now this is a performance clutch ready for those bigger tires. So we just pulled this variator out, and this is what I found. So 4 of the weights don't even have the plastic on it, of the rollers, and 2 of them do. They come with 6, obviously. So this needed to be replaced anyway. The variator itself wasn't in too bad a shape, but the buggy owner decided he wanted to get new, which I totally agree with. So he went and got brand new variator, okay, and it comes with their own weights. All right, but they're typically come like as a 14 gram. But running the tires he liked to use, he went with the 11 gram Glixal sliders, which are going to be a little better performance. It's going to work in contrast with the spring package that we have in the clutch. So basically, that's how we're reclutching it. That in itself is not enough to run the bigger tires, but we're going to get to that later. But anyway, we're going to throw all these brand new parts back together and have this old buggy, $100 buggy, looking like new and running like new. So next day, we're still working on this buggy. What we need to do is we need to build like a frame to put the seats in. We're going to use this here tubing, just some junk tubing, and we're going to cut it up and we're going to put it in here and build up the frame, build in the frame first. And then we're going to put these lovely Polaris seats that are now well painted nice and black and put them in there. That's our next phase that we're going to go into. After that, we're going to be bleeding the brakes. As you see, we got the bigger tires put on the front, and we're going to have them put on the back, and this thing's going to be sitting nice and high, give us a little ground clearance, and make it more of a usable buggy. We already have the 12-tooth sprocket, drive sprocket put in the back, and that's going to give us that nice low-end gear. We took care of the clutching already, so we're all ready to go to put. We have right over here, if you want to zoom in over here, we have the big tires. These are 25-inch tires we got from my buddy Mike. They're going to go in the back, and yeah, we're geared for it. Now we got to do is put them on. All right, let's get to work on the frame, putting the seats in and making the frame up a little bit so we can weld them seats in. All right, well, we're just about ready for a test ride. It's not completely done, but we do have the big tires on it. Doesn't it look a lot meaner and nicer? We'll go ahead and fire it up. Sounds good. All right, we'll just give it a little Okay, well, that's a wrap. For now, obviously there's more little things like a dashboard the owner wants to do, to put different lights on it, even though the lights do work. But this thing was $100 buggy. He got it for $100, and I mean, it rides really nice. The opportunity I had to ride it, it was really good. It's amazing what you do. Of course, a little bit of money got poured back into it, a whole lot of elbow grease. But speaking of which, that brings us to the verse of today. The verse of today is Ezekiel 37, verses 4 and 5. Then he said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. You know, that's a beautiful picture of what God did with Israel, what God can do with your life, and pretty much what we did with this old buggy. I mean, it was dead. It didn't run. Nothing. It didn't have a whole lot of good about it. The clutch was a mess. The motor, it wouldn't run good because the valves weren't tuned up, and we had to take the time and tune it. But God wants to do that with your life. You don't have to get your life just right to come to Jesus. You can come to Jesus, and he can make your dry bones come to life, just like we did with this Kart. But only what he can do with you is just immeasurably more than you can hope or imagine. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching the video. If you like this type of content, we should have more coming. Well, there she goes. All done for now. So if you like what you see here, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.